Hello and welcome back to another weather video. Today we are talking about the Atlantic hurricane season and how it's going to start to ramp up here very, very quickly. Right now, the National Hurricane Center is looking at two disturbances here, both of which have low chances within 5 days, but there is one. This first disturbance here has a bit of a story to it, so we're going to be going over that today. So right now, the National Hurricane Center is giving this a 20% chance of cyclone formation, saying that shower and thunderstorm activity remains disorganized, associated with a tropical wave located a few hundred miles east of the Windward Islands. Environmental conditions could become more conducive for slow development of the system in several days as it crosses and after it crosses the Windward Islands and moves into the eastern and central Caribbean Sea, late this week into early next week. So, this wave is right about here, I believe. So very disorganized, basically just a wave of energy. And the European model doesn't have much going on with this storm. Really has it getting ripped up with some of the shear that is in the area that is currently in. But this is kind of underlying because there's still a chance that this does form in the Caribbean and into the Gulf of Mexico. And the European model does have other storms forming here. This is one of them. So what is going on with this system, and why does it still have a chance to form maybe outside of that 5-day window? So we're going to start off here with our precipitatable water. So this is the moisture in the atmosphere, and we can see here that during the day on Thursday, we still have just above average water levels, precipitatable water levels, in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. But as this wave moves through, you can see that it's right behind a source of drier air. And eventually we start to see more moisture in this entire region pretty much. And that continues into even Labor Day weekend. So definitely a good sign there. Another way to look at this is the relative humidity levels, which in this region are very high. I think the lowest here is in the 60% range here, but most of this blue is in the 90s, the 90% range. So that also shows how much moisture is in the atmosphere, and that is a good sign for tropical development. Now, the one thing that we do have to look out for is the shear. You can see that right now, the bulk shear in this area is a bit higher than average in the area that the wave is currently in, but as it moves into the Caribbean, you can see that there's an area here. This is for days 1 through 5. So within the next 5 days, there is a region here that has much lower than average wind shear, and that is almost exactly where the shaded region where this disturbance does have a 20% chance of forming is. And as we move along, this kind of wave of lower than average shear starts to move to the northwest, and you can see here this is days 6 through 10. And at this point, the Western Gulf, the Western Caribbean, there's just this lane here with zero, average to below average wind shear that a storm can just travel straight up. And finally is the sea surface temperatures, and this is all in Celsius, but I do have a conversion table here that I'm just going to be reading off of. You can see most of this region is right around the 30 degrees Celsius mark, which 30 degrees Celsius is about 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So very warm waters here, and you can see that I think the lowest here is 26 degrees Celsius, which is still 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And this continues for many days. Very similar numbers here, still in that, 25 to 30 degrees Celsius range. So within that 75 to 90 degree Fahrenheit range in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. So it seems like if a storm sets itself up to move into the Central Caribbean and then into the Western Gulf and even into parts of the Northern Gulf here too, we could be seeing a fairly strong storm develop in this area. The conditions are looking favorable in this region. In general, right in here. So, let's see how things go, how things develop. Just for giggles here, the GFS has a storm forming here. They have this storm here. Let's find it. Starting to move into that Central Caribbean area. Let's actually go back to in line with this model run. And moving into the Gulf of Mexico, right where that area with lower shear is, and making landfall probably as a either tropical depression or tropical storm in Louisiana. But things do differ from model run to model run at this point. We are far enough out at this point. We're looking more towards Labor Day weekend at this point. But things are looking a little bit better in the Atlantic, and that is definitely a sign of things to come. So we're going to have to continue to look at these systems, see the possibilities of them developing, but right now the region that's best fit for development is the Caribbean and the Western Gulf of Mexico. So let's see how things go there. But that is all the information that I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell. That is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.